All right, Kenman here, and today I have the Vosteed Talarurus in hand, ready for die project number 51. Before we start, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I purchase everything at retail price. I do these videos because I love discussing knives and sharing info and ideas with others. If you have any questions or thoughts for me, please feel free to comment down there below. All right, this one is actually a sponsored video though. This knife was sent to me by one of my subscribers, Logan. This is the Vosteed Talarurus, but I like to call it the Talarurus because it's fitting. No, cool knife from Vosteed, nice new design. The crossbar lock, that thumb disc. I haven't really had many knives with thumb discs. I've kind of was turned off by them, but this one brings me right to it. It's like, it feels good. It thumbs out nice, flicks out really good. Crossbar action is excellent. It's a little bit smaller knife, so I get my meaty hands around it, and I kind of worry about cutting myself a little bit. But for a smaller hand person, this knife is great. I'm sure you will enjoy it. Let's take it apart. Let's change it. Let's give it some custom jobs in the KDK studio space. I don't know. All right, final looks. I did do a swap on the clip. He'll probably keep the clip on this side, but since it was swappable, I wanted to test it out for a day or two before I did the custom work to it. And because it's that crossbar lock, I like to kind of grab onto it with my left hand and my fingers right there. And so I was like, I'll put it on for a left side carry for me for a day and test it out. All right, there's your last looks. We'll take a little pick. It's going to be that side for the comparison at the end. Action is good. It is centered up nicely. When we put it back together, we're going to try to get it just like this. Crossbar locks with these springs and stuff sometimes can get a little tricky. Here we go. All right. Set the table. Bam, bam, boom. Dinner is served. Die project number 51. Can you believe we have done this many? Kenman, you haven't finished all of them. Shh, I know, I'm insane. Let's get to it. All right, we're going to close this thing up. You always want to be careful when you take a knife apart. Pay attention, get it back together the same way. Captive pivot. So the side that we're going to unscrew is going to end up being the same side that we have the pocket clip on when we do the rebuild. So remember that. Looks like the pivot is a T8. Everything else looks to be the T6 variety. I'm going to go and just loosen everything first. Kind of just get it started. Sometimes when you've got a barrel spacer, if you loosen one side too much, you have a hard time getting the second side loose, and the barrel just spins with it. So if you kind of go in there and just kind of evenly loosen both sides just a little bit, generally you won't have that issue. I've struggled sometimes trying to take a knife apart with little things like that. Boom, center screw. It's not often they've got one right in that center space like that. Usually it's top and bottom. But each design is a little different. Interesting to mess around with, take knives apart, play around with them, see how they work, how the lock mechanism actuates, etc., etc. All right, I am starting to put my squeeze on now. Generally, when you're getting close and it's ready to start coming apart, if you're not careful, it will start falling apart on you. And then if something falls out of a position you didn't know where it came from, then you might struggle with figuring that out later. So I am just kind of giving it that squeeze, kind of keeping it all together for the moment till I get this all completely out. Boom. So there is the pivots. I'm going to start off going this way. Like I said, there could be a spring or something in there. I'm going to set this down, kind of lift slow, make sure there's nothing going to go shooting across the room on me. Boom. Scale is off. All right, so you can see that omega spring comes around right there. Boom. I wonder if I can just leave that as is. It's cool. Well, notice there's let me see if I can focus that. There's multi-positions, so I could bring that spring down to position 2 or position 3, change the tension on it a little bit. Nice little feature that they have. I am going to have to push that out. Okay. And see if we can get this last scale off. There we go. So at this point, that's all we need to do. I can leave the rest of this together in a unit. You can kind of see that the blade wants to slide out of position. I could take the blade out. And we have our bearings. There you go. Okay. Let's just get to the nitty-gritty. We have the scales. They have been removed. They are dirty. So what I need to do before we do the dye is we're going to wash these off, get them all cleaned up so they're nice and smooth and ready to accept a fresh batch of dye. Here we go. Let's move to the kitchen. Boom. All right, we are here. I got them cleaned off, nice and ready to go. Talked to Logan about it. He wants to do a fade dye, and he wants it to be lightest at the butt side. So we're going to drop it in from this direction. Got it set up on my little motor here that drops at about 3 revolutions per minute. So it's a real slow drop. And I've got this dye all heated up. It's about 2 ounces of liquid RIT dye to about 20 ounces of water, maybe 24 ounces of water. And I've got it heated up just under boiling, and we have it all set to drop down into there nice and slow and steady, trying to line everything up, make sure I'm straight, make sure they're both even, they both go in at the same time, so we get a mirrored image, a nice symmetrical result. They're about to start touching. Boom, there they go. So I am using a blue RIT dye. Depending on how this goes, I may end up switching to another shade of blue. This is my sapphire blue, which gives me this color right here. But this doesn't, on this Sencut does not have a fade. It's just a solid. That's what we get if we just let a jade kind of go for a while. It's a nice blue. But I figured it's a little bit lighter than the darker blue that I have. And so if we start off with the lighter one and do the first fade up and look at it, if we want it to get darker towards the end, then I can go back and do it again with a darker blue and see how that goes with the results. If you want to see a few fade dyes, here's one from a orange to a red. So this one I actually used a couple shades. I started off with yellow and then switched to an orange, and then 2 different shades of red, I believe, is what I ended up going through. This is one of my first ones, so it's got a nice fade to it, but I feel I can get a little bit more extreme with some of the colors. I've done a few where it shades to multiple colors, but it just depends. It's all an experiment, having a good time with it here. Here's another one that I did with a purple. This one's cool because it's just so hard to tell. It almost just looks like it's a color, but when you start looking at it up close, certain sections are certain shades, and it does just slowly fade to this really dark, rich purple on the end. I like it. It's fun. I like to do a little weird, just like weather dyes too, aged, beat-in kind of looks on this genie, and just solid colors as well. But here we are. We've got it dropping down. Like I said, it's about 3 revolutions per minute. It's kind of slow. I don't know how far or how long I really want this end to be in. I almost want it to be close to white on the tip. But if I let it dip and then stop right here, there will be a very distinct line. And what we do not want is that line. I'm looking for a nice smooth fade. And so basically I'm going to have to let it go until it drops all the way in. But once it goes all the way in, I'm yanking it out and we're going to go into this water bath. The water completely neutralizes the dye. If we just let it sit in there, it will be darker on the bottom than on the top because it's had a chance. The bottom's been sitting in there this whole time. The top still hasn't even gone in. But I want to take it out, rinse it off, kind of see where we're at with this shade and this one single drop. So we are almost there. These are about to go under. We're going to take them out. Here we go. Let the heat off. Boom, fully submerged into the rinse. And I'm going to turn off my motor so it doesn't keep rolling. I got blue on my hands. I'm going to be careful if you get dye on anything you don't want dye on because it takes fast. Wow, this is very interesting. Okay. So these are contoured, and so what that means is they're layered when they're put together, and the contour lines are going to show off those layers. So you see these lines here, these vertical lines. But wow, this is a neat looking fade so far. We're going to have to go in again. I don't know how well. Sometimes it doesn't show on camera as well. But right now we are looking at the end is starting to get pretty blue and this end is pretty light. I think one more drop straight down will give us a interesting perspective. We can kind of see where we're at from there. So what I'm going to do is a quick reset. And I'm going to do a speed time lapse here for the next couple drops in case I need to do it a few times. We can just go through it really fast and you can see. So I'm just going to let it go on autopilot now and we're just going to send them down really quick here. Okay, after that second pass, I've given them a little bit of a rinse. I really think I might be there. I'm going to dry them off pretty good here and take a look, but honestly, it's there's, because of the striping, there's some dark spots, but there's also the light spots, the fade. You can kind of see a little bit more on the back. It's tough to tell in the camera. We're going to get her dried off, take a look at them where they're at, make some decisions here. All right, we'll see you in the next. Boom. Ugh, and we're here, but man, that bouncing around makes me a little dizzy. Having fun though. You also enjoy these? Hit the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to continue to see more. Let's get this Talarurus back together. It's a tricky one, but we will see what we can do. I set the blade right about where it's supposed to be. There is a captive pivot, so I got to keep that flat bump down and try to shimmy that through there. That's going to be the challenge of the day, I think. Maybe if I flip it over, I can see a little bit better. The problem is there is the way the spacers are set in that spot. If I take the blade out of there, the spacers are no longer, they don't stay in that spot, and so it's like you kind of have to push it all in together like this to get it to work, and then I gotta shimmy it through this blade. the right direction. Of course, it's not gonna want to slide through there the way we want. I wonder if I... Yes. All right. I kind of pulled a little pressure off of the crossbar lock, and then that made it... Are those... Was that on the third? Okay. Just checking where these little are. You can adjust these to make them a little stronger or weaker. All right, let's get through there the rest of the way. What is happening here? It's just almost there, but not all the way through. Come on now. I can start this side, but it's not quite seated on this other side here. So it has to twist or somehow drop into that position. You can see. All right, maybe if I put a couple of these on and kind of get the scale holding on. And then I can get the rest cinched down here. Look at all these different size screws. Those two go there. These are shorter and longer. I don't remember which one goes to what. Of course, I'm assuming these shorter ones probably go in this middle spot. I'll have to go back and watch the video again, and if I notice they're the other way, then I can swap it. Swap them out here, but I think that middle section, because it doesn't go into a spacer, is probably the shorter. I am fidgeting all over the place with this driver today, huh? Okay. So how are we going to get that to drop the rest of the way? I am not entirely sure. I don't know why that doesn't want to go the remaining distance. Let's try if I can give it a little twist without scratching the scales. I don't have this tight, so there's no real pressure. That should turn and drop in there, but it's not dropping in there. And I don't know why. It looks like it's just not quite lined up correctly or something. It's just not letting it drop through. If anything, it needs to turn. One of the stresses of putting something back together there it went. There it went. Not sure exactly what that was pinched up on, but we've got it now. Oops. Pick the right drivers, Dan. What an interesting finish this is going to be. The because this blue spacer is like metallic, it would have been tough to match that blue. But blue with the blue, I think this looks good. I'm interested in it. Hopefully Logan likes it. If not, he'll message me and I can go back in and we can add some more dye or whatever. But I kind of sent him a proof pic of this. And he said it looked good. Kind of has this denim kind of a look. All right, how tight does that need to be? Feels nice. Blade is centered. See if I can crank that down just a little bit more. And it's still... I'm nervous about this. I already nicked my palm right there doing the squeeze close because it gets a little close down at the bottom there, and I have big meaty hands that wrap around. Okay, enough. He is a righty, so he's going to put the clip on this side here. If I can get those screws going. And we've almost got this thing buttoned up. Who has a Talarurus? What do you think about it? I like this knife. I think it's got a really cool design. Like I said, I wasn't big on the thumb disc. But after testing this, it actually feels nice. It works good. So any of the issues that I was kind of worried about have now gone away, and I will definitely look at knives that have thumb discs now and not think twice about considering them, versus before I'd been like, thumb disc, not interested. But I didn't know anything about it other than just, oh, well, thumb disc, not interested. So now that I felt one that actually feels nice, works good, I will definitely consider them for the future. Plus, the way this one's designed, it just looks cool. It's got a good style to it. All right. Boom. Open. Closed. Action works good. Flicks out nice. Drops shut. Oh, we're good. Get this stuff out of the way. Get some show shots here. There we are. What does everyone think? On camera, fade dyes do not show as well. I need to work on trying to find a way to take pictures so you can see how dark that is right there, and you can see how light it is right here. It is almost pushing white on this end, and then the contour stripes really pop. Boom. Action works great, feels good. Okay, we'll do the before and after. There you go. You can see the difference. I think at this angle right here, you can definitely see it's dark blue here, and it kind of fades out towards that end. The Talarurus is cool. That's why I call it the Talarurus, because it has that much action going on. I'm excited to get this back to Logan. Hopefully he likes it. Fun little project here, I tell you. Excuse me. But yeah, if you are interested in watching another one of my fade dyes, you can check this one out up here, the Artisan Cutlery Andromeda. I have affiliate links for both Vosteed and Artisan Cutlery. You can check those out below. Click on that, buy something. It does a little help for the channel. Really enjoy this Vosteed. Probably might pick one up for myself at some point if they make a large version. Stay sharp. See you soon.